All right, y'all are good to go.
All right. Thanks, Maddie. I'm Pat Baird. I supervise interlibrary loan here at the main library. And I'm doing this presentation with Kathleen Halbach, who supervises interlibrary loan at the Hardin Library. Um, our interlibrary loans are actually split into two different instances. So Hardin Library takes care of all of the medical, and Kathleen will go over that more. And then the main library ILL takes care of the everything in Maine and also handles all of the requests that go out to the branches. Um, so I am going to start sharing my screen. Let's see if this works. I think this is the one I want. So you should all be seeing a screen that says Interlibrary Loan 101. Is everybody seeing that? Okay, good.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to start the slideshow. Please let me know if something isn't advancing and then I'll have to fix it. But hopefully this will work. So basically what we intended this to be is a basic understanding so that you guys can all learn what we do and meet us. I know we're kind of hidden back in the corner in main library. Just thought that it might be helpful for people to understand what we do when you're helping patrons. And summertime's a little bit slower for everybody, so it's really great to see all of you here. Um, Resume slideshow. Let's see. Are you seeing a new screen?
No, it's still
You're still on your first one.
Okay, I'm going to have to go back to my share screen and choose something else. Sorry. Share. Let's try this one. From beginning. Resume slideshow. Has it moved?
No.
No such luck. Okay, hold on.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for your patience. Okay, so what we're going to do is this in two parts. The first part is probably the longest, and we're just going to go over who we are, what we do, who we serve, and how we do it. And then there's going to be time for questions. And then after that, we're going to just have a short little session intended more for branch library staff, IRA staff, people that work at circulating desks, just to talk a little bit about checkout procedures and paging books for us. And then there's some new scanning standards that the Big Ten Academic Alliance is trying to adhere to. So we'll go over those. Please, if you have any questions, just you can type them in chat or wait until the end of each section and we'll take questions at that point. So here's part one, ILL 101 for library staff, and I'm going to start out with talking about the main library. So here we are. This is, there are 5 of us that work full-time in Maine Interlibrary Loan and Delivery Services. I'm Pat Baird. I supervise the unit. I fill in for staff as needed, and I just kind of make sure everything's going along as it's supposed to. Nancy Ritchie is our lending specialist. Lala Romero Sampantham Basuk. She has a new last name. She's our shipping specialist. She does UPS shipping for us and handles the mail. Brenda Skippers is our article and document delivery specialist. And Shannon T is our borrowing specialist. And what do we do in interlibrary loan? Well, number one, we lend to other libraries worldwide. We borrow items not available at the university libraries, and that can be items that are checked out, not on the shelf for some reason, or items that we just don't have. We provide scans of chapters and articles to our patrons, that's document delivery, and to other libraries worldwide. We also do delivery services, so we're paging requests for items that are in the main library. We're pulling those and then we're delivering them either to branch libraries or campus offices, or we even deliver remotely through UPS. One thing that we do here that I think a lot of people don't know is that we provide machine readable text to our patrons with visual impairments. And that would be texts of library materials, not textbooks. This Office of Student Disability Services does scanning and provides machine readable textbooks for the students, but any other supplemental library materials that are requested, we provide that. And our students have to be registered with the Office of Student Disability Services in order to use that service. We unpack, we sort, and we deliver mail in the main library. And we provide shipping services for main library and all the branches. So who do we serve? Well, borrowing and document delivery serves all UI faculty, staff, students, and emeritus faculty. We do not do community borrowers, and that is because we have to everybody has to authenticate through their Huck ID and password, and our community borrowers can't do that. So we direct community borrowers back to the public library for their interlibrary loan needs. For lending and scanning, we serve the other Big Ten Academic Alliance libraries. We serve the Iowa Regents libraries. We serve all of the Iowa academic libraries. We serve Iowa public libraries. We serve other libraries worldwide for a fee. And we serve corporate offices for a fee. So for delivery services, every morning an Alma report is run and the books are pulled, and this is done once per day in the main library. And then the deliveries to campus offices are through campus mail. Deliveries to remote addresses are through UPS. We try to ship the books the same day that they are pulled. And we offer return shipping labels. In fact, we put a little bookmark in the books that we send remotely that gives the patron a QR code that they can scan, and then they can request a prepaid UPS shipping label to send the book back to us. So we make it really easy for our patrons. All right, so we use a lot of applications in interlibrary loan to do our work. The main one that we use here at Main Library is Iliad. Iliad works in concert with OCLC WorldShare to provide most of our requests. I'm sure all of you know that there are a lot of libraries worldwide that upload their holdings to OCLC WorldShare, and we do as well. And that's where a lot of the interlibrary loan happens. But our Iliad is pulling information from OCLC and sending it back out to OCLC. So we actually do our work in Iliad, but it's happening in WorldShare, if that makes sense. We also have other applications that we use. We use Alma. Our Iliad works with Alma, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later, how we use a connection between Iliad and Alma. We do our work in Iliad, and it makes changes in Alma for us. We use an application called Rapid ILL, which is for articles, and that is totally unmediated. So our patrons put in article requests. Our staff don't look at them. They automatically go out and they're automatically filled and delivered to our patrons And that is really based on how well the patron puts their request in. If they have an ISSN, if they have a complete citation, that's really a great way for them to get the request. They don't know that it's going through Rapid ILL, but everything does go through Rapid ILL. And similarly, we use uBorrow. And some of you might remember uBorrow is like a confederated catalog of all of the Big Ten libraries. And we used to have an actual search function for uBorrow, but that's gone away because everything, all of the requests that come in through ILLiad automatically will go through uBorrow if they possibly can. And that would be if they have an ISBN, if they have if the ISBN and title match, they'll go through uBorrow. What uBorrow does is it's also unmediated. It just sends the request right out to one of the Big Ten libraries that has the book on their shelf. We know that, or uBorrow knows that, and then the Big Ten library will pull it and ship it to us. So that's the fastest way that we can get books for our patrons is through uBorrow. Additionally, we have a function called Silo. Silo is a state of Iowa library, interlibrary loan application. It's on the web. And most of the public libraries in Iowa use Silo. So they're inputting their requests in Silo. Nancy is going out and pulling those requests from Silo. She has to input them into ILLiad because we don't have any connection that'll connect the two, but she inputs them in ILLiad, and we fill the requests, and then she updates the request in Silo. But those are the applications that we use. And what formats do we do? Well, obviously print. We can borrow and lend print, audio and video discs, microformats and film reels. And sometimes we do lend our 16 millimeter films, music scores, but we cannot loan ebooks or streaming media. There are a handful of libraries out there that will lend ebooks now, and we've done a couple of those, but it's not very common. So we just tell our patrons ebooks are not possible yet. Okay, so lending. Let's talk about lending copies. Most copy requests come into ILLiad through OCLC or through Rapid ILL. And we will always fill from electronic if our licensing permits us to. All of the requests that come in through Rapid ILL are filled from electronic, and that is because we've got it set up so that it only sees our electronic holdings, that we have licenses that allow us to fill that way. So it makes it really easy for us. We're providing scans to Rapid ILL, but we're only having to do it. We can just do it from anywhere. We're finding the electronic, downloading it and sending it on. Alternately, if the license doesn't allow, or if there is no electronic, we will scan from the print, and we always deliver electronically, almost always. Once in a while, there's some licensing thing that doesn't allow us to deliver electronically, and then we actually do a printout. Branch libraries and IRA do a lot of scanning for us. And actually I should have said this before, but an awful lot of interlibrary loan work is being transferred out to the IRA because all of our books are going out there. So the more books that go out there, the more work that they do for us, and we sure appreciate it. And generally, all scan requests are filled within 24 hours. And for our loans, we pull from Maine once a day. IRA staff pull and update the requests in ILLiad. They actually have permission to actually work in ILLiad, and they do the work in ILLiad, and then they send the items to us for shipping, but they're all ready to be shipped by the time they come to us. We request our items from branch libraries through a temporary relocation request in Alma. So we go into Alma and say, please send this to Maine ILL, and they come to us that way. They send us the items for updating in Iliad and for shipping. And we use something called NSIP processing, which is a connection between Iliad and Alma. So we're just doing one checkout in Iliad. And when we do that, the actual the Alma record makes it look like it's unavailable to the patrons. And I'll show you what that looks like. I've got a fly flying around me, really bothering me right now. Sorry. Okay, so here's the info hawk record of an item that's been checked out on ILL. I'm going to try this little pointer thing and see if it works. So here you can see currently unavailable from Maine Interlibrary Loan. And next screen, if they click through to the holding screen, then they see something that looks like this. And once again, they see, well, they see it says interlibrary loan right here, but down here it says not loanable, unavailable ILL, and it gives a date. The date that it's giving is the due date that was set in Iliad. But there's a caveat with that, and that is if the borrowing library decides to renew or asks to renew it, and we renew that, there's no connection between Iliad and Alma anymore, so the renewal date doesn't show up. So that date may or may not be accurate, but that's the original date that the item was due. So if you need to know something about that, you can always contact ILL and we'll let you know what status that is in. Ideally, though, if a patron looks at something like this and sees that it's unavailable, it's out on ILL, they have options. They can request the book through interlibrary loan, and that's what we would prefer that they do. Or if they just need a chapter, a scan of a chapter, they can request it here as well. So let me show you what happens if they click through, what it looks like. Oops, I still got the laser pointer going. Okay, so if they click that button, what it's going to do is going to bring them to their interlibrary loan. It's probably going to take them through some authentication. They'll have to sign in with their Hawk ID and password, but then it's going to take them to the interlibrary loan book request, and it's going to be auto-filled with all of the citation information. So we make it real easy for them. I'm going to get the laser pointer again. Up here at the top, we give them the option to select their pickup library, and we do this on every request. They can pick it up at Maine, at Hardin, at any of the branch libraries. They can choose office delivery or remote delivery. The important thing to remember for interlibrary loan is that we are using, if we're delivering to campuses or remote, we're using the address that they have registered with in their interlibrary loan account. We are not connected with the university's addresses at all. So it's real important that they make sure that their account is up, that their address is up to date. And that's why we've added this little statement up here. Your current address on file is the following. This is actually for mine, so I have my books delivered to interlibrary loan. But that is hopefully so that they will understand that they have to have the correct address. Up here, if you would like this mailed to your office or home, please confirm that the address in your, and there's a link, interlibrary loan account is up to date. We can't deliver to dorms, or the law library doesn't offer home delivery either. Turn off the little pointer if I can here. Sorry, I'm kind of stuck with the pointer. Let's see what happens. Okay. I can't get my cursor to go down there below that. I shouldn't have used that.
Can you try advancing with the arrows on your keyboard maybe?
Yeah, let's try that. Yep. Okay, thank you. Oh, there, now my cursor went down below too, so good. turn off that laser pointer. Okay, and this is the second half of that screen, basically. And I just wanted to show you this because down at the bottom, we actually state that ebooks are not obtainable through interlibrary loan. If a patron wants an ebook, they can recommend the purchase of a recently published ebook. And if they click through on this link, it'll take them to the acquisitions purchase request recommendation form. And then they just click on submit request and they have submitted their interlibrary loan request. So our policies for other libraries, we loan our books for 17 weeks, and that's a full semester. Plus, we guarantee at least one 6-week renewal. We'll often renew more than that if they ask. Videos are loaned for 4 weeks and with no renewals. Sound recordings are loaned for 2 weeks with no renewals. If a library loses one of our books, doesn't return an item, we charge them $100 for a replacement fee. And we can recall items that are out on interlibrary loan if they're needed for reserve, or if our patron needs the book and we're unable to borrow it from anybody else, we will actually recall it from interlibrary loan and get it for our patron. So borrowing, loans, and copies. We pay copyright fees when needed for our copy and scan requests. So I wanted to make that known. Our students, our faculty, our staff are never required to pay anything for our service. And I said this before, but all of our borrowing requests are run through uBorrow or Rapid ILL for unmediated processing. So we pull out the easiest ones and they go out without staff intervention. And those not processed through uBorrow or Rapid ILL come into Iliad, and we have staff that process those. The way it works in interlibrary loan is the requests are sent out to a string of potential lenders, and each lender has a limited number of days to consider whether or not they'll fill each request. If they don't fill it, if they can't, hopefully they'll say, we can't fill it, and it'll move on to the next lender. If they don't do anything, if they don't even look at the request, it's going to sit there for the number of days that they have to consider it. And a lot of libraries consider for 4 days, 3 or 4 days, and then it moves on to the next lender. But there are some libraries that'll go for 6 or 12 days. So we're always conscious of who we're choosing when we're choosing our lending strings. Most scan requests are filled within 36 hours, and most loan requests are filled within 5 to 7 days. Oh, I wanted to share this with you. I put this in at the last minute. This actually came about because of Rapid ILL and our unmediated processing, but this is an email that I got from a satisfied customer. Dear ILL, late last night, probably after 10 p.m., I filed at ILL request for a scan of an article tucked away on the main library's own shelves. Staff folks are always busy, of course, and the weekend was approaching, figured Monday morning was a possibility. Instead, the journal volume was located, the scan was made, and the file was posted with an email alert in what seemed like 10 minutes. 10 minutes. This is a whole new era of service, especially at oddball times. Just want to say how grateful I am. I just love that. And that's all because the request went out unmediated and came back within 10 minutes with the requested article. Our borrowing policies. We want to make sure everybody knows that all of our borrowers know that the loan period is set by the lending library. We don't have any control over how long that loan period is, but we are going out and trying to borrow from libraries that offer long loan periods. And all of the Big 10 libraries offer at least a 17-week loan. Oh, there, I said it there. And at least one renewal. Regents libraries also are giving us a 17-week loan. Items can be recalled if needed for reserve or by the lending library's patrons. So, one of our borrowers may get a book and they may get an email that says it's being recalled and they have to bring it back. If there are any charges for non-returned items, those are set by the lending libraries. And if a billed item is returned, we will ask for a refund, but if it's totally up to the lending library whether they give us a refund or not. So we will bill if a lending library bills us for a non-returned book, we transfer that over to our patron. It goes to their U-bill, they're charged. Sometimes it's $100, $150. If they bring the book back, we'll ask, but it's not always guaranteed that they'll get their money back. So what does it cost for ILL? Well, ILL service is free for all UI faculties, students, and staff. We lend and borrow for free to libraries within the state of Iowa. All of the libraries in Iowa get free service from us. We have reciprocal agreements within the BTAA and with certain medical libraries, so those loans are free. We charge $15 per transaction to non-reciprocal libraries in the US and Canada. And we charge $20 per transaction to international libraries. We will charge other libraries a flat $100 fee for a non-returned item. And I have a slide on how to access an ILL account. From the library's homepage, you would click through to the My Library tab. That would bring you to a screen that shows Interlibrary Loan Article Delivery Request System. Click that. And that brings you to the login button for Interlibrary Loan and Document Delivery. And I was going to go live, but at the last minute, I decided not to. So I'm going to just show you that my last slide here is what it looks like if you click through to the Interlibrary Loan and Document Delivery system. You can see that at the main menu, I'm going to get the laser pointer going here again. You can see if you have any electronically received articles, they show up here, and the patron should click on the view button if they want to view it. They can see their checked out items here. If they're renewable, they can click on the yellow renew button there. And they can see their outstanding requests. They can see what the status is. This one says acquiring from supplier. If they clicked through the actions button, there would be some options there. One option would be to cancel their request if they want to cancel something that they have requested with us. So that does it for Maine. I'm going to move on to Hardin, and Kathleen's going to take over and talk about Hardin.
Thanks, Pat.
Sure.
Get my slides going. There we go. Now I'm going to talk about Hardin Library, Interlibrary Loan. We share a lot of similarities with Maine ILL, so I'm going to try not to repeat things that Pat has just gone over. We have a much smaller staff at Hardin ILL. I'm Kathleen Halbach, and I'm the supervisor for the department. Michelle Drawley assists me with the work. We also use student employees, and of course, we rely on the IRA, Maine, and branch staff as needed. ILLiad is the center of all the work we do, just like with Maine. The big difference with us is we don't use Rapid ILL here at Hardin. Our main system that we go to and work with both borrowing and lending is DocLine, which is the interlibrary loan system for the National Library of Medicine. But we also use OCLC and UBorrow, and of course we use Alma. And we do get, I didn't put this on here, we do fill silo requests, but they're ones that Maine has sent over that they've already gotten in from the silo system. They sent on to us. For borrowing and document delivery, I had to put the slide in because I love my Book i5 scanner and I wish I'd had it years ago. And I know Maggie has said that they've just gotten a new scanner out at IRA, and I'm sure they're going to like it. It'll be wonderful. For document delivery and borrowing. Who do we serve at Hardin? This is again, we're providing services to the University of Iowa students, staff, and faculty. While we'll serve anybody that's with the university, our primary clientele are the Carver College of Medicine, College of Dentistry, 3 disciplines within the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences: Communication Sciences and Disorders, Health and Human Physiology, Music Therapy. We also serve the College of Nursing, the College of Pharmacy, College of Public Health, and University of Iowa Healthcare. Hardin Library librarians are the liaisons for all these departments and colleges on campus. For both borrowing and document delivery, we follow the same basic policies as Maine ILL. There's no charge for this service unless we get into the situation of a non-returned book. Copies, most of them are filled in 24 to 48 hours. And we ask that there's only 1 article or chapter request per form. And most articles are all posted to the articles are posted to the server for 30 days or 5 views. So we always advise patrons to download and save the article if they're going to need it, because once the 30 days or 5 views are gone, we have no access to it and we'll have to do another request for the material. For loans, we follow the rules set by the lending library regarding length of loan, renewals, library use only, and other restrictions. We try to follow and borrow from the same institutions that Maine does, the BTAA, the Regents, and for us, the medical libraries, which are part of Region 6. For both borrowing, and Maine's going to show some examples later in the second half, but Maine and Hardin ILL both use the reusable black book band. We always put in the book band a gold piece of paper that has the patron name and the book title. And here's one way where we differ from Maine ILL is we ask that the patrons sign the white slip of paper and then have staff return that slip of paper to Hardin ILL. We don't have the Iliad web circulation set up that Maine ILL does because we actually don't borrow a whole lot of books. The nature of the health sciences research is we do a lot more article work, getting articles for patrons and providing articles than we do for loans. For lending, here you can see the fabulous door into our second floor office. But lending, we're providing service to non-U Iowa affiliated people. Hardin Library is the largest comprehensive health sciences library in the state of Iowa. There's no longer a state medical library in Des Moines that people can go to, so they come to Hardin Library. We rely heavily on DocLine, which is the National Library of Medicine's interlibrary loan system. DocLine is a mediated system, so we do have to send the requests out. Staff have to send the request out into the system and bring lending requests back in. But it's not that much, few clicks here and there, and I'm used to it after all these years. Key part of DocLine is the only ILL system for many hospitals not connected to an academic institution. Academic institutions will get into using OCLC and hospitals do not have those options. We also receive requests via OCLC silo. We have a web form and we do get email requests that we will then input and add into our Iliad system. I know Pat has mentioned it and want to follow up that everything goes in and out through Iliad, and that includes whether we bill or not bill. All that transaction is handled by the request within Iliad. We follow most of the same basic policies as Maine ILL for loans and copies and for charges. Few minor differences, and we primarily provide materials to the BTAA libraries, the network of the National Library of Medicine, Region 6 consortia institutions, and then hospitals across the Midwest. But we do provide materials around the state, the country, and the world. And I want to say I scanned and sent articles during COVID to every continent but Antarctica. For copies, most of our photocopy requests come through the DocLine system. Articles are scanned and we send them out via Odyssey or Article Exchange to the requesting library. And our turnaround time is just under 6 hours from start to finish. We charge the fees as necessary to libraries and businesses. For copies, or excuse me, for lending loans, most of them come through the OCLC system. And Hardin only has call number items from 2010 to the present still in the building. Older items pre-2010 are out at IRA. And since they mostly come through the OCLC system, Main Library takes care of processing them. We charge the fees to the libraries as necessary, and our turnaround time is about 1.5 days from when we receive a request to when it leaves our office. We have to send it over to Main ILL, and Lala packages them up and sends them out to the library that requested the item. We follow Main ILL policies regarding our length of loans and renewals. Here's another area where we're slightly different than Main. We still use a pseudo patron for what we lend out, and we do have a 1-year checkout in Alma. I have a couple of examples to show you what the records look like. Here's an InfoHawk record, and it would show that an item is on loan, and it will have a very odd due date that doesn't match up with what student, staff, or faculty would have. But if the staff would go into Alma, they could see the records, and it will say that it's Hardin served to Hardin ILL. And that's all I've got, except for our skeleton, who thought he needed to make it into the presentation. So that's the end of our part 1. Our part 2 is going to be directed just toward branch staff, IRA staff, people that work at circulating units. But are there any questions that we can answer for anybody? All right, well, if there's no more questions right now, we're going to move on to the part 2, which is fairly short, but it's intended for branch library staff. So if you're not interested, feel free to leave. And thank you for attending. Really appreciate the attendance here. So branches. I'm going to talk about the checkout and check-in of ILL items. You all should have access to Iliad web circulation. And you all should have a login and password for that. It's the login and password goes with the branch library. There's not logins for individuals, but very simple. When a patron wants to check out an ILL book, you're going to scan the barcode from the front of it's in the black sleeve. You're going to scan that right here. You're going to pull out the checkout slip. I don't need those signed anymore. And if you get them checked out properly, I don't really need them. You don't even need to send them to ILL. You used to mail them to ILL. Fine with me if you don't. It's just something that we do. When the patron returns the book, if you could scan the barcode here, and that would mark it as returned. That way we know it's been returned to the branch at least. And then if we're looking for something and can't find it, we at least know that it's been returned at the branch library and the patron won't be responsible for it anymore. We occasionally get items that the lending library will only lend to us if we guarantee that it will be used in the library only. And for those, we use pale yellow lending slips. And what you should do with those is just check them out as normal in WebCirc, but tell the patron that the use is restricted to in-library use only, and they should return the item to you at the end of each day's use and just put it back on your ILL shelf. They'll come back the next day or whenever they need it. And then when they're completely finished, we try to include this slip that says, please check this box when you are finished with this item. And if they return it at that way, then you'll know you can mark it as returned and send it back to ILL.
Items that we request through Alma will display daily on your pick from shelf list. I know branches sometimes do them differently. We do a pick from shelf list, but anyway, we've put in requests for all of those things. When you scan in the barcode, it'll print a transit letter to ILL. I want to just say that time is of the essence. So we have a 3-day limit from the time a request comes into Iliad until it moves on to the next lender. So the request might have been in ILL for a day before it comes to you. Now we're down to 2 days. If you can pull that book and get it sent to us as quickly as possible, we would really appreciate it, because once they move on to the next lender, it doesn't do any good. We don't ship the book. We'll just send it back to you, to the branch library. So please get them to us as quickly as you can. And scans that we request through email, same thing, time is of the essence. So you guys are doing the scanning, which we really appreciate. We still have a 3-day limit to get that scan out to the library that requested it. And if we go past our 3 days, it moves on to the next lender. So if you in the branch libraries do the scanning on the 4th day, you scan a 50-page document and put it in our folder like we ask you to, it doesn't matter. You've done it for nothing, basically. It's already gone on to the next lender. So just keep that in mind. I think everybody is scanning and saving at least the main ILL scans to the correct folder on the L drive, or email them to libill@uiowa.edu, and then we deliver them. And then finally, the last thing is the new scanning standards of the Big Ten Academic Alliance. So the Big Ten Academic Alliance, the ILL coordinators decided that in anticipation of the big collection, we wanted to harmonize all of our ILL policies as much as possible. So we all agreed on the same lending periods and renewals. All of our policies we're trying to harmonize, and one of those is the way we scan items. So I put in the chat way at the beginning, before the program started, a link that would get you to a document. It's sort of a quick guide on the new scanning standards, and I will email that out to branches after this too. So we want to ask you, if your scanner, if at all possible, if it's possible to scan to machine readable text, please do that. We're trying to get as many scans as possible already scanned and machine readable. It's just best practice. So if you have that option, please choose that. Big Ten has agreed to scan in 300 DPI. For most plain text, bitonal is the choice. But if there are charts or images, please use grayscale or color. The art library, I know, has a lot of images that have to be scanned in color. We ask that you do only 1 page per scan. So if you have a small book and both pages fit in 1 scan, please split them up and just do 1 page per scan. And avoid dark shading that obscures text or images. So if you can't get a good, decent scan, we would prefer that you send the book over to us and we'll try it. And if it's bound too tightly and nobody can get a good scan, the better option is for us to just cancel that request and let another library try to fill it, because somebody else might have it not so tightly bound and might be able to provide a better scan. And then if you can include a scan of the pull slip before each article or chapter, and the pull slip for branches is the email that we send to you guys. We can only do 1 scan per chapter or article request. So if they request chapters 2 and 3, let us know, because we'll go back to that library and we'll say, we can provide you 1 chapter. Which one do you want? And generally, we have a 50-page scanning limit, and that is just to save save you guys from having to do too much scanning. If you feel like if they've asked for a chapter that's 60 pages and you have the staff time to do it, just go for it if you want to. Otherwise, you can send it back to us and say this is over the 50-page limit, and we'll go back to the borrowing library and ask them if they want to borrow the book from us. And then finally, if you can include a scan of the title page and verso of books, that's very important too. Researchers need that information to correctly cite in their research. And that's all I have for branch libraries. Any questions about anything that we've gone over?
All right, thank you again. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for this chunk of questions. I can find my button.